Hello writers of the world, welcome back to the Agent Mo channel. My name is Agent Mo and I am an author and a former junior literary agent. And I'm so happy that you're back here with me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And this is going to be kind of a continuation of my previous video about what a literary agent is, and in this episode specifically I'm going to talk about how to search for the right agent. And I always emphasize the word right because finding an agent, and this is something that I mentioned in the previous video, is a chore. You have to find an agent who is a good fit for you, who, in all honesty, this agent, you have to imagine them as your best friend. If you can envision them as your best friend who will advocate for you and your work and who you can trust, then that's probably going to be a really good match. It's really hard to know, but based on the information that you have online, the information that's available online, then you can make a determination of whether this agent is going to be a good fit for you or not. And once you do land an agent, the agent will also try to figure out if you are a good fit for them too, because the relationship goes both ways. And so today I'm going to talk about how to search for agents and utilizing the resources in order to find the agent that is right for you and for your work. Remember, at the end of the day, you are trying to sell yourself as a brand, and the agent that you find must represent that specific brand. And we'll talk a little bit more about a brand and what that means in future episodes, because there's so much that's involved in it. All right, first of all, I do want to make a distinction. I didn't really touch too much about this in the previous episode, but I want to talk about the difference between an agent and what is known as a schmagent. An agent is someone who has been doing this work for a very long time, and if not a very long time, if they're a new agent, then they work for a reputable agency, an agency that has a lot of books published, that has reputation, that is renowned for its works. Then that agent is also someone to be considered, or an agent that should be considered for your work. A schmagent, on the other hand, is an agent who has very questionable motives and comes from very questionable backgrounds. Again, I know I spoke about this in the previous episode, but agents usually require a lot of experience, require a lot of mentoring to become agents, to become really good agents who know how to sell a piece of work. And schmagents, on the other hand, come from, well, nobody knows where they come from, but well, a lot of people know. But they, again, there's usually a question mark next to their origins. A lot of red flags come up, and I'll talk in a lot more details about that, about those red flags to watch for in future episodes. But the best thing I can say is, if you are unsure about specific agents, use Twitter, research these agents, look at their backgrounds, go to a website called www.writersbeware. I think it's www.writersbeware, but if you just look up Writers Beware, then it has a listing of all the schmagents on there, and it would be really good to take a glimpse at those schmagents before you query them. You should also be very careful to look at the sales record of these specific agents. A good sales record means that agent has been selling projects to editors in a fairly subsequent manner, where there isn't too much timing between these projects. That's not necessarily a red flag if there's a long time between each project sold. Selling to publishers is a very lengthy process, but you want to see, when was the last time they sold a book? Was it a good deal? Was it a bad deal? It's not necessarily going to say whether it was a bad deal online or not, but your best source for this is to check up on Publishers Marketplace. Now, Publishers Marketplace does require a subscription. It's a $25 a month subscription. If you are able to afford Publishers Marketplace, use it to the best of your capability. Publishers Marketplace includes an exhaustive list of agents, all of the agents that are currently available to be queried, and who are also approved by the author's representative board. I forgot the name of them. I believe it's the AAR. And you can, if you do pay the subscription, you will have that list of agents on there, everything that they sell, and as well as a listing of every project that they have sold to publishers. So that is how you can find and track their sales record. If you don't have access to Publishers Marketplace, then you'll find a lot more information online. But my number one go-to is always Publishers Marketplace, even though it costs $25 a month. But if you don't have that, hopefully you have a friend, an author friend who does have a subscription to it. You can always ask them if you can borrow it for a certain amount of time until you are ready to query. Another really good resource when searching for agents is the bookstore itself. If you go to the bookstore and you find your favorite books on the shelf, all you have to do is open to the acknowledgments page, and usually the author will acknowledge their agent on there, as well as their editor, as well as other people, but pay close attention to the agents that they include in their acknowledgments. Chances are that agent is probably looking for similar books too, because they already know how those books sell and how they will sell. That's another thing. I love doing that. I love going to just bookstores, rummaging through the books, looking through the acknowledgments page. Even though I do currently have an agent, I still do that. It's just really fun. Another thing that you can do is search for specific agency websites. So let's say, for example, you've gone to the bookstore, you've looked through the acknowledgments, and it has the name of the agent, and it also has the name of the agency. Go look at these agency websites. See if maybe there are other agents out there who are a better fit for you. You know, again, it's all about fit. Do you think this agent will be a good advocate for you? I promise you, there are so many agents out there that are probably not your best fit. They're not a good fit for you. There are some authors who are okay with agents that are more business driven, and those agents just want to sell, and that's totally fine. And there are authors who are more comfortable with agents that are more editorial, who are more communicative. And for me, that's the kind of agent that I want for myself, which is why I was very careful about finding my agent and choosing my agent, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to go to sleep comfortably knowing that your agent has your back. And whichever agent you like, whether it's the business-driven one, the one who's definitely going to sell your book, or the one who's going to be a good fit because they have your back. Another thing is Query Tracker. Query Tracker is a really good resource for finding literary agents. And the really cool thing about Query Tracker is if you are querying that specific agent, it'll actually show you your location in the query slush pile. If the agent read it, if they passed, if they didn't pass, if they read someone else after you or before you, you get a really good indication from Query Tracker. And it's really cool because you can also include a list of the agents that you are interested in requesting or querying, and after they reject you or pass, or if they do agree, you can also include those in there. I really, really enjoyed Query Tracker as a resource. Another thing you can do is the MSWL website. And the MSWL, or the Manuscript Wishlist, said it better that time. The Manuscript Wishlist website includes pretty much hashtags of agents and what they are interested in finding and representing. And this is really cool. I really like the Manuscript Wishlist because it was born on Twitter, and it details essentially what specific genres, specific ideas the agents are looking for. I like the Manuscript Wishlist, but at the same time, to a certain extent, I'm very wary about it, because sometimes the trends that you find on Manuscript Wishlist have already gone, and the agent is no longer interested in that idea or in that trend or in that genre. So be careful when you're looking through MSWL, but in general, it's a very good resource, and it's also really good for me because it gives me new ideas. If I'm rummaging for new ideas or trying kind of in a corner and worried about not having a really good idea, I sometimes go to MSWL and I see what are agents interested in, what are some things that are hot, and sometimes I get a few ideas, sometimes I mix those ideas together to create one bigger idea, and that's a secret, so you can definitely use that. That's a tip for you. Another website that I found was the Association of Author Representatives, the AAR. They usually have a listing. However, I did look through the listing, and there are some old entries on there, some agents who are still who are no longer at specific agencies. So also be wary of that, but they do have a listing, a comprehensive list of agents to query. Another resource, which is indirect, is conferences, book conferences. If you are able to attend book conferences, I know nowadays they're mostly virtual, then attend those book conferences. Hit up agents that you think would be a good fit for you. Again, do your studies, do your research, find these agents. If they're interesting to you, if these are agents that represent books that you like, try to reach out to them in these book conferences. They are amazing people. Agents are so open and so kind and so nice. And of course, I say that with an asterisk because there are some agents that you just never know. But do your research. Two more additional resources are books. One of them is Jeff Herman's Guide to Book Publishers. Jeff Herman's Guide to Book Publishers I actually bought, and it needs to constantly be updated on an annual basis because agents come and go. So make sure that you get the latest edition of Jeff Herman's Guide to Book Publishers. It also includes some amazing tips on how to write a good query letter, some amazing tips on how to write synopses, and other things that are necessary for your writing. And the last guide that I have is the Guide to Literary Agents. I believe the Guide to Literary Agents is published by Writer's Digest. Don't quote me on that, but it's also updated annually, and it comes in very, very handy when you're looking for agents and editors alike. It's very interesting. I believe my name is in the Guide to Literary Agents during one of the years. I don't remember which one, but if you're interested in finding it, let me know. And that's all I have for today. So all I have to say is when you are searching for your literary agents, make sure that they are representing your genre, and make sure above all that they are a good fit for you, and that they might be a good fit, or they might be a good fit for you, and you might be a good fit for them. Because at the end of the day, this is a relationship, and it's going to last for a very long time. So make sure that you're prepared for that. Make sure that you know who you're talking to. I hear this a lot on Twitter, and I can't stress it enough, but having no agent is better than having a bad agent or a schmagent. And I fully believe in that. I fully believe that's true. Because you could have a bad agent or a schmagent and end up in misery, not selling a book, or worse. But I'll talk about that in more episodes in the future. If you have any specific questions or comments, please leave those down below, and I will be very happy to address them as soon as possible. If not, please like, subscribe, click the notification buttons to see future videos that I make. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the future. Bye!